What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 49 of my reviewing and ranking the Grateful Dead's Dave's Picks, their archival concert release series. We're caught up. Number 49. This is the most recent one released as of January 26, 2024. Just over a month ago. The next one was announced. I think it comes out in just over a month, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we're caught up at this point. It's kind of exciting. And a good show to be caught up with. Something I can praise and throw adulations on and say, hey, you should definitely listen to this. This is a 4-disc set, 2 complete shows from 1985 at the Frost Amphitheater in Stanford, or in Palo Alto, California, Stanford. It is, if you've never been to Frost Amphitheater, that was a magical, magical place. There were certain venues on the West Coast that shows always just seemed to have a little extra something, something. The Greek Theater in Berkeley, Cal Expo in Sacramento, Frost Amphitheater, 100%. Just a special Grateful Dead venue. And you can kind of feel it in the music. I think the song selection is like, hey, they're trying to keep things interesting. The energy is really, really good and strong. I think in the second set, maybe some better overall playing and some better performances. And the energy might just be a little more spectacular, but that energy also seems like they're not as focused in the songs and the lyrics, but when we get to the jams, oh, the sweetness. Oh, the sweetness. There are just absolutely amazing moments throughout both of these shows. I absolutely enjoy this release. Enjoy everything about this. One as just a standalone 2 shows from 85, but also having listened to, so many other 70s stuff recently in the course of this project and, and revisiting some stuff, there were a couple songs that popped up on here. I'm like, oh, that's really nice to hear. Like there's a Man Smart, Woman Smarter, not something we get to hear a lot. We get a better, well-formed Brother Esau. I liked hearing the Throwing Stones. There were just some really good moments. I'm like, okay, it's been a while since we've heard one of those, and I enjoy those. The first set fits all completely on disc 1 of both shows, in fact, with extra bonus songs in each case. So they're kind of short sets. The first set on April 27th, 1985. These are April 27th, April 28th. I don't know if I mentioned that. Opens up with a Dancing in the Street. Yeah, fun song. Got a good little jam in the middle. Yeah, kind of a nice choice, kind of a fun choice. That goes into a Bertha. We're just in a Bertha. We're carrying that energy, really good energy. A Little Red Rooster. Bob is still learning how to play the slide guitar. And we get to sit through one of his more painful slide guitar excursions in the middle of what is a pretty healthy and good Little Red Rooster. There is another blues song in the second show, the New Minglewood, right? They do a New Minglewood on the second show. Bob gets a slide solo in that. He's improved greatly from the 27th to the 28th. The one on the 28th is actually like, okay, I think Bob got a little bit better. We get a really fast Brown Eyed Women, just a I mean, just we got some high energy here that at times doesn't seem like it's reined in. And like the songs, and it maybe causes some stumbles, but when they get to the actual jamming thing, and it's, they don't have to think as much, they just feel. That out of control sense kind of goes away, and all this like energy that's kind of hard to contain in the songs pays off big time when we get to like the jams. We get a My Brother Esau, which just feels like a little more developed. It's a song that I've never really figured out where I don't know. I always look forward to hearing it, that I'm always like, well, wasn't quite what it should be. This is getting pretty close there. It just feels like they're getting into something in this version. Like they're maybe feeling it a little bit better. We get a really funky Ramble on Rose where we're leaning in that bang, 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 bang. We're really getting funky with that Ramble energy. Just like Tom Thumb's Blues. We got a hard We Want Phil chant going on. Phil steps up and starts singing just like Tom Thumbs over what just a very simple, just the bass, I think, in the beginning before the band comes in. Phil's a hot mess vocally, but that's part of the attraction of Just Like Tom Thumb's Blues is that Phil is a hot mess vocally, and yet he's doing this awesome Dylan song with some great lyrics that I think play up to Phil's personality in a really good way. Then, and what I think, and this is a great set list, right? We got to Dance It in the Street, which is, maybe not the best of covers, but kind of rare, right? An 85 treat. We got a My Brother Esau, a nice treat. We got a Just Like Tom Thumb's Blues. But right after the Tom Thumb's Blues, Jerry goes right into A Cold Rain and Snow. And it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's the perfect thing. It works amazingly well. Just absolutely love it. And then Bob follows that up with a Music Never Stop. Music Never Stop jam seems really rushed and kind of like, hey, let's get to the end. The first part of the jam, when they do that sort of cascading, kind of free floating jam before they do the drop and go into the dun 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 closing jam, that cascading part, I think is the definite highlight of it and kind of shows where the highlights are going to go in the rest of this show and the next show. Those moments when they really have a little more freedom to explore. But that first part of the Music Never Stop jam is really the sweet spot in that jam. Really, really enjoyable. Kind of just about an hour, maybe even under an hour first set. So kind of short, but enjoyable. Second set opens up with a Scarlet. Really nice Scarlet, really nice, purposeful, jazzy, exploratory, go out there. Awesome Scarlet energy. Jerry sounds fantastic. Phil sounds, everybody, the band just sounds amazing. Like exactly what you want out of a Scarlet Begonias. And we get some definite fire energy. Like I think the drummers start a little fire energy. I think it's Phil might be teasing some fire bass things. And right when it feels like we're going to commit to the fire, we're going to the mountain, we get a Scarlet fire. And this could be one of the ages because that Scarlet was pretty strong. Jerry just all of a sudden tears into dun, 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 right into an Eyes of the World. And like, as soon as we're into the Eyes of the World, Jerry just starts singing Eyes of the World. And we're off. And Eyes of the World. Kind of a surprise. Nice surprise. It's good that we're getting treats. We're mixing things up. It's not your typical Scarlet Fire. I do feel like the fire energy was looking to be something pretty epic. So in some sense, it's odd that I'm disappointed. But it's nice to hear the Eyes, some really high, solid burst of kind of jazzy energy. And this closes out disc one. Kind of a nice way to end disc one. After that, the second set's not done with just being full of surprises. Disc 2 opens up with Going Down the Road Feeling Bad. It's pretty much let's play Going Down the Road Feeling Bad in a high energy fashion. We're not really expanding what we can do with this song, but it's a really nice pre-drums second set treat. And then we go into what is surprisingly maybe the second highlight so far after the Scarlet Begonias. We get a Man Smart, Woman Smarter. And the reason I really, really like it is, one, it's a Man Smart, Woman Smarter. We don't have a lot of those released. But the jam in the middle has some like very intentional, maybe moody, if not dark psych energy. Like it's not really committing to it, but it's kind of flirting on the edges with a little bit of like psych intensity that is maybe not always associated with the Man Smart, Woman Smarter, that I really like. That goes into a pretty phenomenal drums. We get a really cool space out of that. The spaces in both of these shows are absolutely fantastic. I think the second show in particular is just beautiful, haunting. Seems like a standalone piece on the second show. The space is fantastic. Out of the space, we get the wheel, exactly how you want a wheel to develop, where you just kind of feel it, and then everything just starts churning and flowing like an actual wheel, and then it kind of emerges in its full beauty. That goes into a Truckin'. At the end of Truckin', we get a full-on sort of, we don't get very much of a jam before we start getting like a hardcore other one energy, and we have this almost like mashup jam of Truckin' meets the other one for a couple minutes before we fully commit to the other one. But that weird sort of in-between space when Truckin' is ended before we're fully committed to the other one is really, really got some nice it could be Truckin' teasing the other one. It could be the other one teasing Truckin'. It could be neither one of them just floating. It's a nice little connective segue jam there. Once the other one's second vocal ends, we go right into a Black Peter, and then we get in Around and Around, and a One More Saturday Night. To close out, we get like the Around and Around that's like cut in half. Then we go right into One More Saturday Night. And then Jerry gives us some keep your day job advice as an encore. So solid show. It would get better on the second night. I think the second set is pretty interesting. The song choices are interesting. The song choices you think are maybe not going to bring the most interesting musical highlights, such as Band Smart, Woman Smarter, I think do. Scarlet Begonias is fantastic. The Truck and Other One, Segway Jam, amazing. Some really good stuff there. But I think the second show is even better. Opens up with a Give Me Some Lovin'. Awesome, just do-no-no-no-no. Great Midland, Oregon energy, just like filling the hall, filling the space. It's not a hall, it's an open amphitheater. Really good. Pretty straightforward, typical, not really jammed out. Give Me Some Lovin'. It's just kind of there to, get the crowd into it. That goes right into a Mississippi half step. The song itself feels like it's maybe struggling a little bit, but then once we get to the ending part and we kind of take off and things get Jerry gets a solo and be a little more free, kind of finds its groove and things get cooking a little better. New Minglewood Blues sounds good. Bob's slide guitar solo is better than the one from the first show. Then we get a bird song, and this bird song, the song itself, they kind of mess up a little. Feels like at one point Jerry's ready to go into the jam, and the rest of the band's like, "No, we're not jamming yet, Jerry. We got some more singing." So Jerry kind of comes back and sings, and then we're off jamming, and we are soaring. We are taking off. This bird is flying. It's like over Stanford. It's over the entire South Bay. It's maybe flying all the way up to Berkeley and San Francisco and checking that out. This is a bird song that just it's beautiful. This is a bird song. Had they ended the set here after, what would have been 30 minutes, you're like, hey, that was a really short set, but man, that bird song was good. But no, man, this is halfway through the set. It's a really good bird song. It is the meat of the set. It is the heart. It is the soul. It is it is right there in the center of the set, but it is one of those bird songs you want to revisit and listen to again. It honors Janis Joplin's memory in the best way possible. All I know. Then we get a Tons of Steel, some hardcore Michael McDonald energy here that Midland's bringing. Kind of fun to hear that. Not something we get released a lot often. I don't think it's a great song, but whatever. Good. I think it sounds decent. Good late 70s, early 80s Doobie Brothers vibe there. And then we close out with a China Rider. Yeah. So we're getting more surprises thrown our way. A nice China Rider to close out the set. Some good energy in the China. Kind of a weird, funky jam in the middle that almost seems like it doesn't actually coalesce and work. But that's kind of part of the endearing part of this show is there's a going out there-ness that continues in the best way possible in the second set. Disc 2 closes out with the encores, which are I'll talk about later because I have a point I want to make. Second set opens up with Hell in a Bucket. One of the best opening to Hell in the Bucket ever. It always to me, when I ever saw opening to, that just seemed like a weird sentence. Seems to me that most of the time when I listen to Hell in the Bucket or when I saw them live, all of a sudden it's just we just start. It's just and we're in it. The opening on this is so clear and purposeful, and you hear the drums, and then Bob does the intro chord. It just feels, I don't know, it feels more complete and more of a real beginning instead of them all just rushing forward into the song. And I like Hell in a Bucket. Haven't heard it in a while on Dave's Picks. It's a good song. This is a good performance. The energy is good. I like fun, cheesy Bob. Prefer this song opening up the first set, but considering what follows in the second set, hey man, it provided a really, really healthy, solid dose of energy that this band takes it through everything. Next, we get a Crazy Fingers, an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, mesmerizing, just cascading jam after floating jam after cascading jam after spiraling, beautiful, weird finger picking, cascading jam. This is just 8 minutes of bliss. I think Crazy Fingers, this was the year when it finally made its like official comeback. I think it had been played a couple times in like 83, right? And then it kind of disappeared in 84. Then it's finally back here in 85, and it would be around pretty much for the end of their tour, their run. But it is just so perfect and so beautiful. And it feels special to the Frost. As someone who's been to Frost Amphitheater and experienced the magic there, you can feel like there's just a special vibe about this Crazy Fingers. And you know why I know that? Because Playing in the Band follows next. And this might be one of my all-time favorite Playing in the Bands. And it's only 10 minutes long. But this jam in Playing in the Band, like as soon as they get into the jam portion of it, there's no like, okay, what are we going to do? Who's going to take the lead? Where's Jerry going? None of that. We immediately almost like downshift into this dark kind of psych energy. Like there's a darkness to a lot of these shows. I think when the Dead were in places like this and they tapped into whatever magic was in the air, there's always a darkness to that magic. And this is one of those Playing in the Bands where there's a couple times where it just seems like they're taking things to the edge of chaos. Like they're just pushing things to the outer limits, or things are just about to fall apart. And we're going to go into this like chaotic section or this like deep space section, but they always like pull it back in. And it's not that they're about to lose control and they're like, oh no, we got to like get back to something more sane. But it's like, they are so confident in their jamming abilities. They can literally go to the edge of the abyss and like hang over and look down and then bring you back and go, oh no, we're just teasing you, man. We're not going down there yet. And then they just kind of pull you back. 10 minutes total, the entire Playing in the Band. But it is just, I think, the most exhilarating, satisfying, every new musical detour. I'm like, oh yeah, go there, just keep going. Just so good. Then you know what happens at the end of it? Is right when they like almost kind of feels like they're about to fall apart a little, and then the energy goes into like another sort of dark vibe that soon enough becomes apparent that it's a China Doll. And we get a China Doll. And this is just, the playing energy is still there. Like the playing chaos never really feels resolved. It feels like we don't get a reprise. We don't really get sort of this resolution to this peering over the abyss jam that they keep teasing us with. But we just go into China Doll. You can just feel that like playing energy just like right underneath the China Doll. And it's in Jerry's like strangled voice. It's in his like really terse, just purposeful guitar playing. It's just there. And then the China Doll ends and we get this fantastic like pre-drums jam. And you can just feel there's this energy that the band is still like reckoning with. And they haven't really taken care of it yet. But it's like infusing this entire China Doll with just so many absolutely great moments. And I want to say, I think I put in my notes, I just re-listened to this a couple nights ago, that there should have been a separate index jam after China Doll. It's only a couple minutes long. But it should have been called like the Frost Jam or something. The Frost Giants Return, something. Really nice China Doll. That goes into a drums. That goes into one of the best spaces ever. It feels like composition. It just feels there are so many great moments in it. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful space. We get a playing reprise. We go back into playing. We finally take care of that playing energy. And at that point, it almost feels like whatever the band had to say has been said. There's still 3 more songs, but it does feel like there's some sort of peak that was hit with this playing. We get a Wharf Rat, which is pretty good. I'm always a fan of Wharf Rat. We get a Throwing Stones, which I like to hear Throwing Stones. They're still kind of working on the ending a little bit. It's got a little bit too much happy energy before they segue into Not Fade Away. It's still not quite as gritty and dirty as it would be in like a year, well, 2 years post diabetic coma. And then we get a Not Fade Away, which is just really neat little jam in the middle. Like Jerry immediately takes it to somewhere kind of like not within the upbeat, crazy, make the crowd happy vibe. But it doesn't last long enough to really make too big of an impression. But it's a really nice little Jerry solo. And then we get a U.S. Blues as the encore, which is on disc 3. And really everything after Playing On is just kind of like, okay, I like Throwing Stones over here. I like listening to these songs. I just don't think those performances are that fantastic. But then after US Blues, Jerry drops a She Belongs to Me. And you're like, well, now I have to listen to everything after playing in the band because there's a She Belongs to Me dropped at the end. And Jerry, his wariness, his exhaustion, his end of the show, just delivery, just, it works perfectly. It's just, let's go home. Go home, people. Go back to wherever you live. We gave you 2 great shows. You're very welcome. This was an awesome experience. Great, great 2 shows. Fun, adventuresome, really, really good 85 energy. And a Crazy Fingers. And one of the best playing in the bands. Where would I rank this? I have it all the way up at number 16. I think the Crazy playing does a lot of that lifting right there. That Scarlet does a lot of the lifting. Heck, the Man Smart, Woman Smarter does a lot of that lifting. And really, there's nothing bad about it. There are some mistakes made in songs. There's some clumsy sort of transitions, but it seems like it comes out of like, let's just get to the jam. Can we skip the singing? Let's just get to the jam part. Because once they're soloing and they're off, it's just like, this band is just like, it's flawless stuff. Just so magical, so fantastic. But yeah, back at 16, which, out of 49, that's pretty good. You're in the top third. Still releasing stuff years later that can rank high enough to be in the top third. But yeah, that's what my list looks like so far right now. We'll see how it changes when number 50 comes out in about a month, and I'll tackle it then. So yeah, that's all I got. I am going to start some Jerry Garcia band shows. I have a couple of his live releases. I've listened to most of them at least once, but I'm going to get back into those. And part of the reason I'm going to get back into those is because the first one is so fantastic that I got to talk about that. So I'm going to try to do those for a while. Maybe drop a couple other Dead things. Do some Jerry. Then I'm going to go back to like the road trips for a while. Do some other stuff. But yeah, this series is kind of on hold for a while. But yeah, check out this one. This is a really great listen. Just go straight to that second set, that Hell in a Bucket Crazy playing. I think that's the highlight. But yeah, good stuff. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. You know how this works. Thanks for watching. Thanks for those of you who always comment. Give me your Dead thoughts. And yeah, go listen to the Dead people. Peace. Talk to you later.